Cowboy Jim, Fort Mac, Murray, Alberta, Canada. I mentioned in the last video that my old Dodge Cummins is just about up and running. And the other day, we had a terrible accident on Highway 63 north of Fort Mac, and so there were, I don't know, 10, 15,000 people couldn't get home in a timely manner because the highway was shut down. I prayed hard that no one would have been killed in that accident because if you have time, you're on a bed in a hospital somewhere and your life's ebbing away. At least you have time to pray. In an accident, you don't have time to pray. A lady one time sent me 2 pictures of her little Volkswagen car, and I don't know how she lived through that, but the grace of God, I'm sure. And the sadness and the horror that I feel when I look at something like that is you don't have time in an accident to get your heart right with the Creator. And it's kind of like that mountain lion that come running at my cousin and I barely thought at all. I just reacted with the training that I'd had, and I waited until it planted its feet to make the final jump to kill us, and I put an arrow in its chest. You know, I I ended up that night of the accident on Highway 63, and I didn't get home till 11:30. By the time I got my supper made and got in bed, 4:30 rolled around pretty quickly. And I phoned my boss. I said, man, I need more than 3 hours sleep or 4 hours sleep. I said, I just am beat. Hey, I said, I don't miss work, but it really wasn't my fault. So I said, I'm just going back to bed. And about 11 o'clock, another one of my supers, I have 2 heroes at work. Matt and Job. They are my heroes. They've earned my respect. I gave it to them. They earned it. And my friend, my brother, my super, he phoned. He said, Jim, how you feeling now? I said, I'm feeling good. He said, you want to come into work? I said, of course. He said, I could send a truck for you. I thought, hey, I just jump in my old Dodge, hammer the way north. I did. And got her parked in the parking lot, and I thought, it's blessed near -20. This truck's never going to start. I thought, okay. Oh, it didn't start. I mean, we finished the day off, and on the bus ride out to the parking lot, there was a guy sitting across from me. So, well, being as shy as I am, I said, you ever watch YouTube? And he says, all the time. I said, well, you ought to try watching Cowboy Jim. He said he would. But we got out to the parking lot, and I don't know how that guy got ahead of me, but he did. And I was fast approaching my old Dodge, and he yelled at me from across the parking lot. He said, Jim, Cowboy Jim. I just met him. And he says, could you give me a boost? I said, well, of course I can give you a boost. Well, I really couldn't. But nonetheless, I didn't know it. I went over my dear old Dodge Cummins, 22 years old. She wouldn't even try to start. I mean, no way would she start. And I thought, this isn't funny. And so I got out of the truck. I walked across the parking lot to him. I said, I can't give you a boost. My stupid truck won't start. He said, no trouble. He said, I'll flag the next person down. I'll get them to start mine, and then I'll come over and boost yours. I thought, that's pretty good. And so he did. He flagged the next guy down. The next guy pulled in, got his car started. Then the both of them come over to try to get my truck started. I say it's 22 years old, okay? I could buy another. I don't waste money, and I don't want $1,000 or $1,500 bill every month for a truck that's depreciating as you watch. And so they came over, and we stood at minus 20 something. Well, we couldn't get my old girl going. And what did we end up talking about? The Creator, God. I told them both the story about my eldest son who miraculously was healed. I could have whined and complained. I used to do that all the time when I owned a Ford. And I try not to do that at all. Frailty of a truck, especially a Cummins diesel, oh dear Lord, they do not want to start in the cold. Whoa, well, neither do I. But nonetheless, we had, the three of us, a bonding experience that was just flat out real good. I could have been whining and complaining, but the guy who had got his truck started, or car started, he said, just shut that old truck down. Well, it wasn't running. And lock her up, he said. I'll give you a ride right to your home. Well, we wished all three a good night, and I climbed in with that fella, and it was rather interesting. He drove a Ford. I don't like Fords. Oh, well, hey, can't win them all. Whoa. So, we went all the way into Fort Mac, and I thanked him for the ride, and we bonded. Unbelievable. The similarities of his life and mine were, well, ridiculously close. And, well, he didn't look as bad as I do, let me tell you that. But nonetheless, next day, I thought, no trouble. I got up my day off. That was yesterday because I was in court today celebrating the justice system and the incongruity of what you can get away with. Well, pathetic. And I thought I'll just get up, catch the bus back to the particular mine I was working in. And so I did, and I went in, I bought myself a cup of Tim Hortons. Our mine has a Tim Hortons and a pizza thing, and well, quite the food court. Whoa. And sat there, and I phoned AMA and said, my truck is so-and-so. Need someone to give me a boost. And so 4 hours later, wonderful, wonderful tow truck guy. Oh, unbelievable. And didn't we just bond and talk? And he's involved in pulling contests with tractors. That they have tractors that run a lot better than my Dodge Cummins diesel. And anyways, that's what he runs in his tractor, is a Cummins diesel. And we just had a lot of fun. We stood out there for about 3/4 of an hour and froze our buns about half off. And he said, let's just take this old truck into town. And so we put her up on the truck, and we rumbled down the road, and got to know each other a little bit. And I got to share about my YouTube channel and all those things. And we dumped her off right where his tow truck came from. And I walked in. I looked at the place as we approached. I said, I've been here before. And about 2.5 years ago. Oh, it was minus 50, and my old Dodge, she was not going to work at all. And went in, and the lady behind the counter, we looked at each other. She said, I know you. I said, I know you too. I said, I've been here before. She said, I remember. And I thought, that's pretty good. And I said, I need the same thing done to my truck as the last time we brought it in. And I said, it needs new batteries and some ends on the stupid batteries and so on and so on. I said, I'm in court tomorrow, and which didn't turn out that funny. Oh, jeez. And she said, no trouble. We'll try to have it ready for you. And apparently I can pick it up tomorrow. I hope it's kind of early enough. I can run around, get some groceries lined up for the next 5 nights. And, but you start your day, you very well may not have a clue how it's going to turn out, but it will turn out, whether it's the way you like it or not. So I think about my expectations in living, and they're kind of small. Of course, my apartment's kind of small. I built a house at the ranch. It was 5,000 square foot. Get out of the master bedroom bed and walk half a mile to the kitchen. No, it was a long way. I mean, it was a long way to the kitchen. And I think time to time I miss that house. But I built the whole blessed thing myself with a helper, some friends. And I think, I had the privilege and the honor of having a pretty good little horse ranch. And I don't now, but I think, and I know this for a truth, I am more than what I own. Because people don't understand, when you own land, you don't really own it. You're a steward of it. Your responsibility is to do the best that you can. That's the same in life. We're to do the best that we can and relax about the rest. Because if you've done your best, no one can ask you to do more than that. So, very entertaining, very entertaining. And I sat in the courthouse today, and I watched people. I watched anger, real anger from people who, well, the situations that people get into are terrible. And I have a dear friend back in Ontario. His name is Dan Kilburn. And Dan, he's been in a wheelchair for 20 years. I first met him when he was 18. I was about 22. And we've been good friends ever since. And my brother-in-law, he said, anytime that my brother-in-law, got feeling down, he would always think of Dan Kilburn, because Dan Kilburn had a right attitude. And he showed it. He lived it. That's what I choose to do, is to have a right attitude, to live it and show it. And so I'm going to wrap this one up kind of quickly. I was standing inside nice and warm, waiting for my ride back into the mine so I could go to work. And a guy was standing next to me. He says, you look kind of familiar to me. He said, do you think we work together somewhere? I said, I don't think so, but I don't know. He said, well, are you on TikTok? I said, I'd like to be on TikTok. I don't know how to do that. Oh, he said, I can show you. He said, but you look familiar. I said, Cowboy Jim. YouTube. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've watched your stuff, he says. I said, you gotta be kidding. He said, no. I said, well, I have a grandson, Cole Martin. He's quite a country singer. He said, I know Cole. I've been watching Cole. And I think, so he hooked me up with TikTok. I still don't really understand how to take a video off my phone and hook it onto TikTok. Has to be less than 10 minutes. Well, that's not a big deal. I got 2 of those out of the 530 on my phone. Your life may not be turning out the way you would like it to be. You may have your back against the wall. I've been there. 8 years ago, my ex and I were worth about $1.2 million, and times change, and I didn't do very good when we sold the ranch. Ex is gone. That was a perk, and 19 years of marriage. About 12 of them were real good. The last ones weren't so good. Listen, um, there's a saying, look up, your redemption draweth nigh. What that means is God's coming back someday soon. And it is truly unfortunate. I probably won't have time for a 4th wife. That's how close the Lord's return is. Well, God bless you. Thank you for watching. I hope I perked up your day. I encourage you, smile in the face of adversity, because if you're angry, it's not going to help. If you're hurt, it's not going to help. I have a dear friend, a cousin of mine. First marriage was in the toilet, and so he and I talked about it for a bit. And he said, if things aren't working out right where you're at, do something about it. Don't just complain and whine and do that female dog thing. But do something about it. You realize you're in the wrong place, change. You can. Won't kill you. Might help you. God bless, eh? Cowboy Jim over and out in less than 19 minutes. That's pretty amazing. Thank you. God bless.